Controversies are a normal part of human nature. Everyone gets offended by something at least once in their lives, and while there are controversies that are worth getting offended over, there are some controversies that are so dumb that you start to wonder where humanity is headed. I'm ThatKidDouglas, and today I'm going to count down the top 10 dumbest controversies to ever exist in the pitiful existence we know as life. Number 10. Alabama theater bans Beauty and the Beast over LeFou being gay. Shortly before the release of Disney's live-action Beauty and the Beast, director Bill Condon announced in an interview that Gaston's sidekick LeFou would be gay. You would think something like this wouldn't be an issue, but unfortunately the homophobic bigots who just can't handle the fact gay people actually exist came out in full force. A drive-in theater in Alabama decided to ban the film from being shown as a form of protest, as they believe it went against their traditional Christian values. They also believe that Disney was trying to brainwash kids into being gay, because a subplot involving a fictional character being gay that's implied for 5 seconds is totally going to turn kids into homosexuals. Luckily, the boycott did little in impact in the film's box office performance. It opened to an astonishing $174 million, breaking the record for the highest grossing opening weekend of all time in March. I have one question for the drive-in theater owner in Alabama. Was it really worth the 15 minutes of fame? Was it really worth screwing over the people who actually wanted to see the film because you couldn't handle a fictional character in a movie being gay? Seriously, if a fictional character in a movie being gay triggers you so much, then it's probably time to reevaluate your priorities in life. Number 9. Ben is a racist? Twigs wanted to make a video exposing Ben the Looney for being a racist, but he couldn't muster up the courage to do it himself, so he enlisted the help of Soul Brother number 3 to make a video titled Ben the Racist. The only problem with it is that none of it is actually true. The video features some of the weakest attempts at evidence I've ever seen, from the blacks to he's a fan of minstrel show cartoons. The amount of substantial evidence is about the same as the number of Super Bowl championships from the Cleveland Browns. If you actually watch Ben's video, then you would realize pretty quickly that Ben isn't actually racist, and that the claims presented have no merit whatsoever. Some people have tried to tell me that Soul is just trolling, which is bullshit because nothing in that video indicates that he's trolling, and even if he was, it's still a poor excuse to justify calling someone who isn't a racist. All this dumb controversy will be remembered for is being a lazy attempt at race baiting and provoking racial tensions. It will also be random on the annals of dumb controversies, you know, lists like this one. Number 8. BLM calls Justin Trudeau a white supremacist. Immigration has been a hot-button issue for years, and with Donald Trump's attempts at a Muslim ban, it's only gotten more heated. But Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tried to provide a solution to the problem by vowing to bring over a bunch of Syrian refugees to Canada. This pissed off Black Lives Matter Toronto, who proceeded to call him a white supremacist.
What did Justin Trudeau say? He said he wanted to accept everyone who's not allowed into the U.S. border to Canada. Don't share the indentured slavery of racialized people in which the state is founded on. When Justin Trudeau says that, he is a liar. He is a hypocrite. He is a white supremacist terrorist. That is what he is.
So Trudeau is a white supremacist because he promised to bring over Syrian refugees instead of black ones? Because that totally makes sense. BLM doesn't actually care about black people, they're more interested in pushing their own agenda to suit their own interests. The fact that people continue to support them despite the horrible things they've done is beyond me. Because calling the man who's fighting for their right to hold protests a racist because he won't pander to their stupid cause is deplorable in every sense of the word. Number 7. Mr. Medicare vs. Doodletones. I love you, Susie. I think your videos are great, but this controversy was dumb with a capital D. This particular controversy started when internet provocateur Mr. Medicare made a video lambasting people who draw inflation art on DeviantArt. Doodle didn't like this very much, so she made a commentary responding to it called "Kink Shaming Isn't My Fetish," and the response was amazing. And by amazing, I mean awful. Seriously, the video is Sonic 06 levels of bad. Many people thought that Doodle was overreacting to what Medicare said, and overall the video was poorly conceived and poorly thought out. And while most people were fair with their criticisms, others took it way too far, mainly Mr. Medicare's fans who bombarded Doodle with death threats. It got so bad that she almost killed herself because of it. She disabled the comments and ratings not long after that, but instead of letting the drama naturally die, she made another video desperately trying to justify disabling the comments and ratings. In the end, nobody won. Mr. Matoker's fanbase came off looking like repugnant pieces of shit that were beyond human reason, and Doodle Tones came off looking like a reactionary, oversensitive commentator, or to be more technically accurate, a less insane version of Zarna Joshi.
How dare you! How dare you! Disgusting! Disgusting!
How dare you! How dare you, you disgusting person! Disgusting!
Number 6. Kinda Funny's A Day Without a Woman Meltdown. Kinda Funny co-founder Colin Moriarty posted a tweet that was meant to be a lighthearted joke during A Day Without a Woman. Peace and quiet, hashtag A Day Without a Woman. As you can probably imagine, the tweet backfired, with many labeling him as a sexist. The backlash became so intense that Greg Miller was forced to step in, and instead of defending his best friend or merely ignoring the controversy, he decided to throw Colin under the bus instead, and went to Twitter to make a full apology to those who got offended. He apologized for a tweet that didn't need an apology, which is why it's no surprise that Colin left the company a few days later. Oh man, with friends like this, who needs enemies, right? Then again, I wouldn't want a snake like this as my friend, even if you paid me in blackjack and hookers. In the span of one day, Kinda Funny went from one of the most respected names in the gaming community to arguably one of the most hated. What a difference a single joke tweet can make. Number 5. Dump Star Wars. For whatever reason, the new Star Wars films have attracted a flock of idiots looking to stir up dumb controversies and create fake news. Pro-Trump supporter Jack Posobiec alleged that Rogue One writers Chris Weitz and Gary Whitta had rewrote the film to add in scenes calling current US President Donald Trump a racist. Do I even need to explain how utterly idiotic this is? By that point, the script had already been finalized and the film was well into post-production. Even if what Jack said was correct, they wouldn't have had enough time to go back and add in those alleged scenes. And there's no way in hell Disney would have allowed such a thing, because they know Star Wars is a franchise for everybody, and as such they don't want to risk alienating and offending people. Despite Jack having no evidence whatsoever to back up his claims, the flock of idiots took what he said and ran with it, proclaiming Rogue One was an anti-Trump film. They then stood in solidarity to boycott the film in an attempt to hurt its box office performance, which turned out to be a complete failure when the film grossed $155 million in its opening weekend. And while they tried to claim that their idiotic boycott was successful because Rogue One grossed less than The Force Awakens, nobody was expecting it to gross as much because it's a spin-off that's completely independent from the main Skywalker saga. Then again, logic really isn't a high priority for easily triggered special snowflakes. I wonder what the boycott for The Last Jedi will be. Star Wars is promoting the destruction of the KKK? Actually, now that I think about it, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Number 4. DC fanboys petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes. After the colossal disappointment that was Batman v Superman, all eyes looked towards Suicide Squad to right the ship and get DC on film back on track. Except it didn't. Suicide Squad was critically panned upon release, with many film critics declaring it a mess. DC fanboys, who were already incensed by the critical mauling BVS received, decided they weren't going to take it anymore, so they created a petition on change.org to campaign for the shutdown of Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, this was an actual thing. They accused the site of being biased towards DC films while taking bribes from Disney and Marvel. What they didn't realize in their misplaced anger was that up until February of last year, Warner Brothers owned the site lock, stock, and barrel, and to this day they still retain a 30% minority stake. And most importantly, Rotten Tomatoes is not a review site, it's a review aggregator. All they do is collect reviews from other critics, determine those reviews as fresh or rotten, and then average out the scores. This little petition didn't end up going very far, and everybody on the internet pretty much laughed at them. The only thing this controversy achieved was making DC fanboys look even worse than they already are. Sorry DC fanboys, but you know it's true. Number 3. BLM shuts down the Toronto Gay Pride Parade. The annual Toronto Gay Pride Parade is a chance for the LGBT community to celebrate who they are, and by golly, if you've attended one or seen it on TV, it's a celebration. A very colorful celebration. Unfortunately, Black Lives Matter Toronto had to come in and ruin everyone's fun with their ridiculous demands.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
to be trans, who chooses to be non-binary, who chooses to be genderqueer, who chooses to be everything they want. That's what happened, I'm afraid. To tell you more about Blackout, we have Cyrus, who is one of the curators for Blackout's main stage and has been holding it down for 18 years.
They shut down the parade for 30 minutes, demanding that the police not be permitted to attend future Pride events because they were uncomfortable with their presence. This just angers me to no end. Newsflash, this event is not about you. It's about the LGBT community coming together to celebrate who they are. It's their big day, not yours. But let's be honest, these dipshits don't care about anyone but themselves. What's even sadder is that the committee who runs the event gave in to their demands and banned Toronto police from attending this year's parade. Does BLM Toronto even know that lots of police officers are gay? BLM, from one black person to another, do us all a favor and just go away. Please fuck off and take your victimhood somewhere else. Number 2, the Sonic Boom Blue Arms controversy. Sonic has been very hit or miss quality-wise over the last decade. Some entries have been great while others were interactive abortions, but 2014's Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric in particular angered the Sonic fanbase, but not because of its quality, but because Sonic had blue arms. Let me repeat that.
Don't call anybody.
To get a Sonic fan's perspective on this dumb controversy, there's only one person I could go to, someone who knows Sonic inside and out. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you this question. I hope you can answer it. Like, in one word, how would you describe the whole Sonic Boom Blue Arms controversy? Just one word.
Inane?
Inane. Inane. I thought you were gonna say dumb, but inane kind of that works. It was pretty inane. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Anita Sarkeesian and Jonathan McIntosh cry foul over Doom. Doom made its grand return to the gaming world at Bethesda's E3 2015 press conference, and it was magnificent. It was fast, it was brutal, it was old school, and it was classically Doom. That gameplay demo represented what video games should be. Fun. You want to know who wasn't having fun? Professional victims Anita Sarkeesian and Jonathan McIntosh, who went to their respective Twitter pages to complain about the game's violence. Your ears have not deceived you. A series known for its extreme levels of violence was criticized for being too violent. Instead of ignoring it or merely stating the game wasn't for them, they had to go out of their way to bitch and complain because that's all they know how to do. They couldn't grasp the fact that gamers were actually having fun seeing people getting ripped apart, and by people I don't mean actual human beings, but demons from another dimension, aka hell, and they've been the main enemies in the series from the very beginning, before this yellow jacket wearing sack of shit was even born. But that would imply they actually know something about video games, which they don't. I think this response from Bethesda's VP of PR and Marketing, Pete Hines, summarizes this entire situation perfectly. If you're not into violent, bloody games, Doom's probably not a game for you.
My nigga, you just got roasted! Yeah!
So yeah, Jonathan and Anita's salty, victim-soaked tears over a video game series that's known for its violence being violent easily earns them the #1 spot as the dumbest controversy ever. Thank you guys so much for watching the second episode of the Super Awesome Countdown Show. I had a lot of fun putting this one together, and I hope you have fun watching it. As always, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel because I have many more awesome videos just like this one. Also, make sure to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I'm actually working on the next top 10 list as we speak, and since E3 is right around the corner, I'm going to be making a top 10 list all about it, or more specifically, the top 10 what the fuck E3 moments. I think you guys are really going to get a kick out of this one, because these top 10 what the fuck E3 moments are painful, cringy, and in some cases downright hilarious. Now that's all I'm going to say about it because I don't want to give anything away, but I'm fairly confident that you guys will enjoy it. I'm 95.2% confident that you guys will enjoy it. And yes, I can confirm that the list will be released the week before E3, more specifically June 5th, so look out for that one if you're into E3 fails. Anyways, with all that being said, this is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces, stay frosty and keep it weird. Cue an outro sequence now.